Tonight, the Middle East stands on the edge of a major escalation. Missiles are flying across borders, fighter jets are being targeted, and global powers are now directly involved in a conflict that could reshape the entire region. Iran claims it has downed American warplanes. Israel expands military operations in Lebanon. Gulf countries activate air defenses as tensions reach a dangerous new level. This is not just another headline. This is a rapidly changing situation with global consequences. Stay with us as we break down every confirmed development, every military move, and what it means for the world right now. The situation remains extremely volatile, and developments are changing hour by hour. What happens next could decide whether diplomacy returns, or the conflict expands into a wider regional war. The Middle East conflict is entering one of its most dangerous phases as military escalation spreads across Iran, Israel, Lebanon, and the Gulf region, raising fears of a wider regional war that could reshape global security and energy markets. Heavy strikes were reported across southern Iran's Khuzestan province, where U.S.-Israeli attacks targeted major petrochemical facilities. Local authorities confirmed that industrial zones suffered significant damage, while another strike near the Bushehr nuclear power plant killed at least one person and intensified international concern over nuclear safety risks in the Gulf. Iranian officials say the Bushehr site was struck multiple times, warning that attacks near nuclear infrastructure could trigger consequences far beyond Iran's borders. Russia strongly condemned the strike, calling attacks on nuclear facilities extremely dangerous, while its state nuclear company began evacuating hundreds of personnel from the area amid fears of a potential nuclear incident. At the same time, Iran announced what could be a major turning point in the conflict. Iranian military commanders claim their air defense systems successfully shot down 2 American warplanes. One aircraft reportedly crashed in Kogaluya and Boyar Ahmad province, while another went down in Gulf waters. According to Iranian statements, 2 U.S. crew members were rescued, but at least one pilot remains missing, prompting an ongoing search and rescue operation under highly dangerous battlefield conditions. Military analysts say the downing of U.S. aircraft represents a symbolic escalation, challenging earlier claims of complete air superiority by American forces. Iran also revealed that a newly deployed domestic air defense system was used in the operation, signaling an effort to regain control over its airspace after weeks of intense aerial bombardment. Meanwhile, retaliation across the Gulf has dramatically expanded. The United Arab Emirates reported that its air defense systems intercepted 23 ballistic missiles and 56 drones launched toward the country in a single day. Since the war began, hundreds of missiles and thousands of drones have targeted Gulf states, making the UAE one of the hardest-hit regions outside the main battlefield. Authorities confirmed casualties among security personnel and foreign civilians, highlighting how the conflict is now directly affecting economic centers and international workers across the Gulf. Debris from intercepted projectiles has fallen in urban areas, including parts of Dubai, increasing anxiety among residents and investors. Kuwait also confirmed that multiple missiles and drones entered its airspace within the last 24 hours, though no damage or casualties were reported. Jordan revealed it has faced more than 200 Iranian missile and drone attacks since the start of the conflict, most aimed at strategic facilities. As tensions rise in the Gulf, global energy security has become a central concern. Iran continues to exert pressure around the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical oil shipping routes. Any disruption there threatens global supply chains, pushing energy prices higher and forcing major economies to reassess their dependence on Middle Eastern resources. European leaders are now actively engaging in crisis diplomacy. Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, visited Doha to coordinate with Qatar's leadership on stabilizing gas supplies. Italy, once heavily dependent on Russian energy, has increasingly relied on Qatari and American gas imports since the Ukraine war. However, uncertainty over shipments and emergency declarations by energy suppliers has created fears of another major energy shock. On the battlefield in Lebanon, Israeli forces have intensified their ground operations in the south. Airstrikes hit multiple towns, including Tyre, where a strike near a hospital wounded at least 11 people. Israeli forces continue targeting positions they say are linked to Hezbollah fighters as cross-border fighting expands. Hezbollah claims it has launched rocket barrages and drone attacks against Israeli military positions, including strikes targeting what it described as the administrative headquarters of Israel's Golani Brigade near Acre. The Israeli military has not immediately confirmed those claims, but sirens and missile alerts continue across northern Israel as new waves of Iranian-linked attacks are reported. Analysts warn that Lebanon could become a second major front of the war, significantly increasing the risk of prolonged regional instability. Israeli officials themselves appear divided over long-term objectives, particularly regarding whether Hezbollah can realistically be disarmed through military action alone. Diplomatic efforts to stop the fighting remain fragile. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan described the conflict as a geostrategic deadlock during talks with NATO leadership, urging stronger international intervention to prevent further escalation. Qatar and Italy also emphasized diplomacy and de-escalation as the only viable path to protect global energy infrastructure and regional stability. At the same time, political tensions are rising beyond the battlefield. The United States confirmed the arrest of relatives of former Iranian General Qasem Soleimani after revoking their residency status, adding another layer of political confrontation between Washington and Tehran. Within Iran, the war's humanitarian impact continues to grow. Officials report damage to dozens of libraries and cultural sites, while universities nationwide have shifted to virtual learning due to security concerns. Internet disruptions have stretched for weeks, limiting communications across the country. The World Health Organization estimates the conflict has already caused more than 3,300 deaths, tens of thousands of injuries, and displaced over 4.3 million people, making it one of the most severe regional crises in recent decades. Healthcare facilities themselves have been repeatedly affected, worsening the humanitarian situation. Meanwhile, global political divisions are widening. Slovakia's prime minister called for the European Union to reconsider sanctions on Russian energy imports to address the growing energy crisis caused by the war. Energy producers such as Russia, Norway, and Canada are expected to benefit if supply shortages continue. Former U.S. President Donald Trump issued a dramatic warning to Iran, demanding the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours and threatening severe consequences if shipping disruptions continue. The statement has raised fears of further military escalation if negotiations fail. Despite intense fighting, Iranian officials say they remain open to diplomacy with neighboring countries, insisting regional security should be handled without foreign military involvement. However, both sides continue launching new strikes, suggesting that a ceasefire remains distant. As missile alerts continue across Israel and airstrikes expand in Iran and Lebanon, the Middle East now stands at a critical crossroads. The conflict has moved beyond a localized confrontation and is increasingly shaping global energy markets, international alliances, and the future balance of power in the region. With nuclear safety fears rising, energy routes under threat, and multiple nations already drawn into the confrontation, the coming days may determine whether diplomacy can prevent a wider war, or whether the Middle East is heading toward an even more dangerous phase of escalation. The situation remains extremely volatile, and developments are changing hour by hour. What happens next could decide whether diplomacy returns, or the conflict expands into a wider regional war. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next breaking update. If you found this report informative, leave your thoughts in the comments and share this video so more people stay informed with verified news. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay informed, and we will see you in the next update. Tonight, the Middle East stands on the edge of a major escalation. Missiles are flying across borders, fighter jets are being targeted, and global powers are now directly involved in a conflict that could reshape the entire region. Iran claims it has downed American warplanes. Israel expands military operations in Lebanon. Gulf countries activate air defenses as tensions reach a dangerous new level. This is not just another headline. This is a rapidly changing situation with global consequences. Stay with us as we break down every confirmed development, every military move, and what it means for the world right now. The situation remains extremely volatile, and developments are changing hour by hour. What happens next could decide whether diplomacy returns, or the conflict expands into a wider regional war. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next breaking update. If you found this report informative, leave your thoughts in the comments and share this video so more people stay informed with verified news. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay informed, and we will see you in the next update.